Hello. Today I'm going to be analyzing chapters 5 and 6 for business law. Let's talk about the Constitution, federalism, separation of powers, the impact of the commercial clause on business, the taxing and spending powers of the federal government, the impact of the amendments on business. So the Constitution, that's pretty much the framework of our nation. It sets the basic structure of government and represents the rules of state and federal governments. These constitutions pretty much just set the laws and rights for every individual in America. Federalism, a system of government in which power is divided between a central authority and constitutional political units. Within the government, there's a separation of powers to evenly distribute the powers throughout the government, so not one branch has control over the whole government, over the whole country. This is the constitutional doctrine whereby the legislation branch enacts laws and appropriate funds. The executive branch sees that the laws are faithfully executed, and the judicial branch interprets the law. Talks about some cases in here, and for our homework we did a case study where there was a student, Wilson versus the school, I believe, but pretty much two brothers had some blog post that was pretty much saying some bullying things on it that were racial and just mean things said, and the school got a hold of it and suspended them for 10 days, and then they turned around and suspended them for 180 days, and they took it to Congress. And I'm not sure what Congress ruled, but it asked for our opinion on it. And in my opinion, I think that they are protected by their First Amendment for freedom of speech and press, and that legally, I feel as if they can't legally be punished for the things being said on the blog. But in the school system, they violated school rules, so therefore I feel like since they were bullying, they promoted bullying, you could say, that they should have been suspended for 10 days. I feel like it should have been 10 days and that the blog should have just been deleted. And then that would have been the end of it. But that's my opinion, and I feel as if they were protected by the Constitution, the First Amendment of the Constitution, for any legal criminal activities. And then that is pretty much chapter 5. We're going to go on to chapter 6. White-collar crime in the business community. White-collar crime is more so crime that is dealt usually in fraud, corruption, and bribery, and things that necessarily you can't physically see a lot of times, and it's not like blue-collar crime is going out and robbing a store with a gun or something like a crime like that no one likes. But white-collar crime, you can't necessarily visually see it a lot of times, but it affects usually more people, has more of effect, more money is being stolen, and has a massive effect. And in most cases, white-collar crime is committed by Caucasians, white people, and people of high stature, so it's hard to detect them as criminals also. Chapter 6 talks about the Miranda rights, which is the rights that people are entitled when they're certain legal rights to remain silent and devoid of self-incrimination. The felony, which is when you go to jail longer than a year, you're now a felon. It's for murder, rape, or stuff like that. And a misdemeanor, which is a less penalty of a crime. Talks about basic crime. Bail, which is the amount of money the defendant pays to get out of court, or pays to the court upon release of the custody, so to get out of jail. Talks pretty much about basic procedures in the criminal and what happens when you're convicted. I thought it was interesting because, like I said, it's hard to catch a white-collar criminal because they are like your business owner or high executives. And it's hard to track them because a lot of times you have to be able to interpret the data, and a lot of cops can't do that, or they have to have certain agencies to look at the numbers and see what is corrupt. It takes extensive hours and a long, brought-out case, or to track embezzlement, which is the wrongful conversion of property of another by one who was lawfully in possession of that property. Yeah, I learned a lot from these two chapters, and I just learn more and more every day about business law because I'm not too informed about it. So thank you.